Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our Tuesday night race rivals race chat, where we sit down, we bring in our friends, and hopefully enjoy some of the conversation we try and bring about the local scene and everything going on in the racing world, in the sport that we love. Of course, we're still in lockdown and things are a little bit crazy. Different parts of the world are opening up, and Adam Ross, things are coming along slowly but surely, depending on where you are in the world. Um, Man, going up, going down. Are we going to make it? Are we going to make it to phase 3? Those are the big questions, buddy. What's going on in your world today?
What phase are we in? I mean, I'm not even sure. I know
I
that
think we're
there's a conspiracy between you and Spencer to make my camera look horrible every week. It's been ongoing. I'm a good
hold on.
sport. I take it on the chin week after week.
Hold on. 8:01 I messaged you and said, "Are you coming to the party?" Meaning you had no time to test your gear. You can't blame that on Spencer. Anyways, we got
I've
Paul
been here.
Cole with us. So let's get him on the blower right away. He's a racetrack promoter. Unlike us up here, or myself at least, his track's not open, Paul is open. He's got a lot going on. Paul, welcome to the program. Thanks for coming back. And see, even Paul's only been here the second time. Even he knows how to center his camera, so we're all good. Paul, thanks for joining us. You've been up and down. You've been vocal on Facebook and social media about the challenges, let's say, in dealing with the New York government and what you've gone on. First off, for those who don't know, Paul's the promoter of Land of Legends Raceway, or for those old timers, Canandaigua. Either way, it's a legendary spot in the core of the dirt circuit. And Paul, what's going on now? So from across the border, we're hearing fans coming in, limited fans. What's your deal coming up for this Thursday and Saturday with fans? If they're in New York, can they come to Land of Legends Raceway this weekend?
Well, as of 8:05 and 17 seconds, we will have fans at the Land of Legends on Thursday. It was originally supposed to be our Super Dirt Series ESS program. Our first big show of the year. It was supposed to be one of the first big shows for Super Dirt Series after the original executive order that the governor put out saying that we could run after starting July 2nd. Somewhere along the way, earlier last week he slipped in a extension of that to July July 21st. Nobody saw it. In fact, the only reason it was went to check the code enforcer. Code enforcer said, "Hey, maybe you missed this." No track in the state had heard from the governor that he'd slipped in the back of an executive order that moved racing off to July 21st. No fans in the stands. So pretty bummed out. We started retooling things. We recognized that we weren't going to be able to get Super Dirt Series off without fans. So we pushed it off until July 22nd. The very next day, a legal order comes out putting a restraining order, basically, or an injunction on the governor, barring any ability for them to restrict outdoor activities and crowds and so forth. A lot of that was based on the protests and the comments that both Cuomo and de Blasio had made in regards to the people's rights to go out and protest. And the federal court judge in the Northern District Court had put an injunction in there blocking them from exercising executive orders regards to outdoor activities. At that point in time, we reached out to we used to be former Lieutenant Governor Bob Duffy, who's our regional control room person, and asked him what the ramifications of this were. The email response simply was that at this point in time they plan on standing behind the injunction and not challenging it, and that's where we've been left to since. Other parts of the state have heard some different things, but there's been no consistency. And as of now we're up to 8:07. I still have not received a phone call or anything otherwise. I've been in contact with my local authorities, the town, advised them our plans. We have not heard anything more from the governor's office. So we are planning to go full tilt with fans on Thursday. The fans will be limited. We're not gonna chuck fill the grandstands. We got as a thank you to our fans a $10 premium for them to come and watch the show. But right now it's full speed ahead for Thursday.
Paul, what is this going to be a lesson moving forward? I mean, the demand on tickets, trying to limit a crowd. This is the night that you're going to have more people show up to your racetrack, probably than have ever shown up in the history of the racetrack, because people are so rabid to want to get in to see racing. How are you going to handle it?
Well, we're not going to be the first one that's out of the wrapper. There's a couple other tracks in New York that run tomorrow, or they're scheduled to run tomorrow. Both Can-Am and I believe Fonda are scheduled to run tomorrow. Both of them have announced fans, so we won't be the complete pent up demand, but we do know we're going to have a crush of fans, and we'll deal with that as we get there. We know we can hold 3,800 people in our grandstands. Right now, we'll acknowledge at least 1,500. If we get past that, we'll adjust based on what we see the grandstands looking like. The rules that the judge put out there was that you have to follow CDC social distancing guidelines. Here in a restaurant, that means that once you're sitting down, you can take your mask off. But walking around the restaurant or going to the bathroom or on your way in, you have to wear a mask. So we'll be looking at some of that. Going up to the concession stand and standing in lines, you need to wear a mask. If you can avoid being 6 feet apart from somebody, certainly welcome to do so. But there's no reason why we should be sitting there with empty grandstands when you can go to almost any other what they consider essential business and follow social distancing guidelines and exist.
Paul, are you concerned about well, let me put it to you a different way. What are you most concerned about Thursday?
Run out of hot dogs. I think at this point in time, as far as the actual race and operation itself, we don't know what it's going to look like. We do know what a race day looks like, and we know how to be prepared for those things. Do we think I think I'll have a crush of we may have to turn some people away. But up until that point, the only thing we worry about is what does the governor do between now and then? Do they send us an injunction? Do they file charges against us? Do they send us a cease and desist like they've done to a couple other tracks? But at this point in time, we haven't heard anything, and hopefully we won't. Hopefully we'll start getting things moving in a direction. We've had great racing. We've had 6 shows so far without fans. Some of the best racing that I've seen in years, actually. And it's so frustrating to sit in the grandstands by yourself and watch a show where there's nobody watching except for at home on TV. You're like, oh my God, did you see that? You want to go and high five the person next to you. And they might not have seen it on the camera. And there's been a few of those moments where I've been actually pretty disgusted with myself to only be sitting there by myself watching some of the best big blocks and sportsman cars racing. And we've had 4 or 5 absolutely fantastic full fender shows. There's amazing racing going on, and it's just a pity that fans are not getting in to see this. And I think that's all the more reason why this Thursday show will be a tough ticket to get into.
Well, we're going to be watching for sure, Paul. Good luck this Thursday, and we'll follow up next week and talk about how things went, and hopefully have wrap up from another fantastic race, because we've seen some footage of the races down there. They've been fantastic.
It will still be available on landlegendstv.com. We do that every show. We've had some varying outlays of people showing up. One night's been almost 1,000 viewers. Other nights only a couple hundred. Just depends on the show. But it's been really rewarding to get exposure at a time where the government tries to keep you hidden away in a closet.
Paul, let's talk about that quickly. I mean, a lot of our viewers and in our circle are familiar with Brad and Steve Ovens and what they do. They do a lot of stuff here on the channel on GeForce TV through iRacing, and along with Ush Weekend, Land of Legends has gone out, and you guys have prepared your own network and your own stream team, let's say, and how fortunate are you guys to be in the right spot at the right time? Like you called that one right. At least you were able to get your stuff out there online because of the plans you made before all this happened. So good to see you're able to at least make something out of it.
Yeah, we haven't had to share it with anybody. It's our own product. We don't have to worry about somebody else's stream managing it. We don't have to worry about competing with other entities. We're not giving up a percentage. So that's been good, but that's been with a lot of foresight to be prepared to. Uh, we bought a lot of the camera equipment. We've got all our VMix stuff. We've got all the operations. We've got some great camera guys. And one of the things that I think has set our product apart from a lot of the other ones we've seen is that A, the practice, and B, the interactions between our race director, our announcer, and the producer. All those things have to work really well in order for the production to be enjoyable to watch. You get bad camera angles. There's no good announcing that's going to fix that. You get a good announcer and he's announcing a race that's not on the camera. That's not gonna be any better. Important to have a few advertisers to help make that go around. And I think we have probably some of the best production team between Art Rourke and Brad Ovens and Matt Thomas. We're putting out a fantastic product, and we've gotten compliments and comments from other tracks asking how they can replicate what we're doing. And we hope that we can build on that and at some point in time get to the point where we're operating and offering that for free, because we know it'll bring more fans to the track rather than charging for it.
Yeah, brilliant. We're living it Ush weekend. It's done great things for us. Good luck, Paul. Good luck here on Thursday and Saturday, and we'll follow up you the next week and see how that works out.
Thanks, guys. I hope Ontario opens up a little bit so we can go and exchange some race seats. Thanks, guys.
For sure. That's Paul Cole, Land of Legends Raceway. They've got events coming up Thursday and Saturday. And as Paul mentioned, if you can't catch it on, you can catch it on Land of Legends TV. So, Adam, pretty good to have Paul on. Always awesome to get some outside input. That was a big story, of course, from a lot of our friends over in New York getting ready to go on the down there with the events they're trying to put together. So, cool. Good to see our guys, Brad and Steven, the guys we worked a lot with in the winter, will get out and get some real racing going. I know Steven's going to be excited to call in front of the crowd. So that's pretty cool. Spencer, were we able to get our hands on Mark Rinaldi yet? Not sure if he joined us. We're working on Mark. We'll come back to that in a minute. Let's jump to Operation Green Flag, Adam. Things went pretty awesome. Spencer, I don't know if you have any clips available for that. I just requested
You're
that
so
last
full
one.
of
I know
shit.
you're working on Mark and all these stuff. Why am I full of shit?
The show was great. The racing was fantastic. Things didn't go awesome, but they looked awesome.
Well, the way I describe it, we're like a race team. You don't always have everything go the way you want it to. You try and make the adjustments, and sometimes the setup you leave the shop with isn't what you need when you get to the track. And but I think in the end, our frustration internally is we could be knocking out 11s, and sometimes the equipment holds us back. Myself especially, I like to be out there. This is some of the footage from Merrittville on Saturday night as part of Operation Green Flag, where we take the G-Force crew out and give a free live stream from some of the best racing here in Ontario as it sits right now. Then we jump back and Spencer will edit it up for Rev TV Canada. So for those Flamborough fans watching, we're going to Flamborough again this weekend, but your broadcast airs tonight. It premieres at 9 p.m. coast to coast here in Canada on Rev TV. So make sure you check that out. And it could be also under your guide under Mav TV Canada, but we're excited to get that out and get Flamborough some national television exposure tonight. Adam, your thoughts on how cool that is to be able to help out the Caselli family, Doug, Gary, and all their racers with everything they've got going on there?
I'm pretty excited that the late models and the vintage modifieds from Flamborough Speedway are going to be on. Don't necessarily trust your TV guide, folks. 9 o'clock on Rev TV. Turn the channel on. I think you're going to see some asphalt racing. It should be an awful lot of fun. And as Paul Klager said, the show was great. And it was good to see everyone back on the track. And what I've been blown away by, Clinton, that's 3 race weekends in a row. With the exception, Flamborough had a couple of mishaps, but the racing has been so clean.
Yeah, I would give you that. I hope we're not giving the announcers curse here. Let's just leave it at that. We put most of the cars back on the trailer without a mark on them. It has been very good. And we've been through a variety of races. I mean, you look at that Action Sprint Tour race. We started 28 cars on Saturday, and 6 of them, I think, were pure rookies, never even been in the car. They certainly weren't part of the problem. Things went really well. I was super happy about that. As far as the Action Sprint Tour, They did a great job with the show. The sportsmen never fail there, and the mini stocks have really picked up their game in Maryville too. I thought all three of the classes put on a great program. I thought the place really showed well. Like you and I talked today on the phone, I was super proud of some of the camera angles we had. The Greg Boyd out shot looking right down the front straightaway. It don't matter if you've been in Maryville for 65 years, you've never seen it from that angle before. So super excited to be able to bring them some national television exposure too. We are currently halfway through Project or Operation Green Flag. We've done 3 missions so far at Humberstone, Flamborough, and Merrittville. Now we'll go back to each of those 3. We'll be at Flamborough this Saturday at 4 p.m. for a 4 p.m. live stream race on the blacktop pavement, featuring pure stocks, street stocks, and super stocks. No, pure stocks, mini stocks, and super stocks. Then we'll go back to Merrittville the following Saturday, July 11th, for a big show, 358 modified, dirt car 358 mods with the 360 sprint cars. Super excited to get both of those, and I believe Thunderstocks are also on that program. And then we go back to Humberstone the following night for what's going to be probably the busiest show we've had so far. It'll be a dirt late model open, action sprint tour crates, mini stocks, and sportsmen. So that's going to be a packed show there. And then Adam, that ends the funding for Operation Green Flag. So we'll see what happens beyond there, whether Ontario is able to get fans in the stands at that point, if we officially move to phase 3 and can start putting some crowds together of some sort. I understand what Paul was saying earlier. We're in the same boat there. We've got all this space to social distance if we could just be allowed to do it. We'll talk a bit about our weekend coming up later in the program and some of the other things going on there. We've got some updates for you. We've got some new cool stuff to show you if you're an Weekend fan, so stick around as we get rolling into this. So, Adam, anything you want to talk about Flamborough before we go any further to tee it up for this Saturday?
No, not really. I'm excited. The drivers are very proud. The race teams are very proud of what's going to happen. To answer Mark De Silva's question from the stream, yes, there's going to be a difference with what you see on Rev TV tonight from what you saw in the live stream, because our producer Spencer cuts things into a program that'll fit into a 60-minute block or a 90-minute block, whereas when we stream something online, it doesn't matter the amount of time we're there, right? So you'll see things tidied up a little bit, things tightened up, and generally you see features only, which, Spencer, why'd you say that? That's what we run at Flamborough anyhow. Sorry, I shouldn't give the Flamborough's the whole show. I should never do that. I should learn my lesson. Don't repeat what Spencer says in our ear. That's meant for our information. But
didn't you have an argument with me today saying that, why can't I have a walkie-talkie? I get all this information in my ear and I can process it all perfectly. That's why you can't have a walkie-talkie.
That's true. In the NASCAR world, like when I do the NASCAR Pinty series, I always have the officials radio in my ear cranked up. And it doesn't affect me talking, but it lets you know what's going on. It's just like having an extra set of eyes out there when you can hear what's happening. So
if you see me in victory lane with my hand on my hip, I'm constantly cranking that dial up and down during the racers to hear what's going on with Doug. And, you want those cues right until you need it. We've got some great questions coming in. We'll talk about those coming up, mainly pertaining to our weekend and its schedule. We're trying to get Mark Rinaldi on, and I don't think we're going to get Mark on. But is he here now? All right, we got Mark by voice only. So, wow, why couldn't we have a goofy caricature of Mark right now? It'd be so cool. Anyways, Mark, can you hear us?
Want me to Google something?
Mark, can you hear us? That's the question. I don't think we've ever done a voice thing before, have we? All right.
All right, guys, I'm here. Sorry, I'm here.
All right, we got Mark here. So Mark, for those of you who don't know Mark Rinaldi is the promoter at Brighton Speedway. His family has a long history in politics, and Mark has done a great job getting everybody together as far as the promoters' organizations, getting everybody on the same page to agree on a set of guidelines that would get the tracks open about 8 weeks ago now, if I'm guessing off the top of my head. And Mark, you sent out an email to follow up on things today, and I'm just going to paraphrase it a little bit. But first off, while I find that, how are things going at Brighton? You guys been running some practices. what's the story at Brighton Speedway for the fans from the eastern side of Toronto?
Yeah, we're doing practice. Right, getting I think 15 cars last Saturday, 30 this week before that, and started go kart practice, and now start go kart racing.
Okay. Spencer, Mark's terrible. We might just have to let you go,
Is
Mark.
that
I'm going to get this this message out for us here that you sent today. And thanks for
okay?
giving us a shot, but we're just breaking up too bad. So Spencer will have to drop Mark. Here's the email Mark sent out today. There's a few things going on, and Adam, the thing in Ontario has gone to 10, groups of 10 in a lot of places, but that's not really what can happen at the racetracks. So a lot of the racetracks right now in Ontario are playing with a little bit of fire, let's say, and this isn't
Well,
necessarily from our. Go ahead, you
what
can
they're
go for it.
doing, Clinton, is when Dad tells you that you can't do something that you want to do, you run to Mom. Well, Dad said this, Mom says this. That's what they're doing. Oh, the government says we can have 10 people. Well, not according to the documents and the people that put all this work into putting all this stuff together. That's kind of what's happening. Are people going to where they get the best answer?
Yeah. So Mark put out an email today just to the 35 promoters here in Ontario that work together on the guidelines that were accepted by the government. Just want to provide an update. After chasing the government for a few weeks, we finally got some feedback today. It seems positive that racing will be a part of stage 3, although they will not give dates, and we don't think that still that far away. We doubt it's next week, but we hope for an announcement soon. Unfortunately, they're still not given hard requirements on what will be needed to comply when they say that the guidelines that they've given to date, and they with the guidelines we've been given to date, and they may ask for more consultation in the coming weeks, meaning we may need to update the motorsports plan here in Ontario to go with the current guidelines. A couple things we want to think about. We're hearing a lot more about contact tracing, so that may fall on the tracks to figure out who was at your track, when, and where. That seems to be a hot topic lately. We don't know where that's going to fall out there, but that's kind of something that's being kicked around. The other thing we want to see is we see more and more pictures of big gatherings, allowing 10 people per car in the pits and not mandating masks. If 6 feet cannot be maintained, we need to stop that. If we're going to be given any credibility as a group going forward, we need to make sure we stick to the guidelines that we submitted. And the message out to the track promoters: COVID is not gone. There is no vaccination for it. And so we need to follow protocols set out by the Center for Disease Control and the Ministry of Health. We shouldn't need 10 people in a car to pit. And I'm just trying to paraphrase
Can
here as
you
we cruise.
can
But
can you name me a race team that shows up with 9 crew members for one car? Don't say not the Burger Barn team, but tell me a race team that shows up with 9 crew members
are you asking about Schweeken or just in general?
anywhere.
They're out there. There's a few.
Name one. I didn't ask if you think that there are.
Matt Williamson carries about 10 people with him, I think, off the top of my head.
I'd still be shocked.
So
Even at Super Dirt Week, they don't carry 9 people with.
okay, so your point is there's no reason to have 10 people in your pit.
Matt may have 9. Right, Matt may have 9 people that come because they like being around the team, but that is not part of his race team. Even when he raced at Schweeken back in the day, and I mean, he had a big entourage, there weren't 9 people working on that car.
Yeah, it's semantics to say who's a part of the team and who's not. But when you look at what your point is you can come to the races with a driver and 4 guys and make it happen. There's no need for 10 people to be hanging around your pit stall. You're going to have to pick your 4 best crew guys and make it work. For some guys, that's a problem. Some guys have had to sit home. But if you're creative and have any friends in the pits, you can normally find somebody who's trying to sell a spot or two to make that work for your numbers. The bottom line here is, and the message to all race teams, promoters, and everybody here in Ontario who's trying to get this ball rolling is, do not make a big mistake by packing everything in there. We have not got hard deadlines. We have not got a hard limit. And that's probably the biggest thing as a promoter that you're trying to deal with. Tell me I can put 700 people max, I'll deal with that. Tell me we can put 300 people max. We'll deal with that. The fact that there isn't a max number for anything. And when you look at the square footage we've got for the people we've got, the math makes sense at most places. But, we just have to be smart. Wearing masks, don't be hanging out in big crowds, separate from yourself, do the right thing as a race fan and a race team. If you realize, hey, I just walked into a crowd of 8 people, maybe you're the one that walks away to try and save us the season. So those are some things we definitely want to make sure that we're helping reiterate, that we're told to the promoters today. Make sure you're doing the right thing. Make sure you're doing social distancing. Make sure you have sanitation, stations all around so people can do the right things that the Ministry of Health and the Center for Disease Control are expecting us to do. And the big thing is we've got them to agree to these guidelines. Yes, do some tracks maybe feel they're outdated because they're limited to 5 when other places have gone to 10 maybe. But I think for now, for us to continue to get credibility with the government, we need to continue down the agreed path. Agreed?
Absolutely. Yeah, what's happening in New York is going to screw us. It's going to screw responsible people like Mark Rinaldi. It's just going to.
I think that was the message to the promoters today. Look at, we want to go racing, even if it's late into the summer and fall. Don't take us backwards. And, we still don't know where this is all going to go. So if you're a race fan and you're against masks, you better get over that, because I think, hey, I'm one. I don't like wearing a mask. I've done it on the broadcasts because it's what we have to do to be at the races. So don't be that ass who's out there throwing your thumb into the wind. If the government says, hey, you can go racing, but everybody's got to wear a mask, I'm doubling down on the mask. Let's get it done. Let's go racing. So, and I'm the first one to say I'm not wearing a mask, but I'll wear it at the races if that's what we got to do.
If the government said the only way we can go racing is if everybody in the pits wears a sundress, Clinton, you and I would walk into the pits wearing sundresses, and we'd be around a lot of other dudes who look like Wade Watson wearing a sundress.
No, I just sit home watching free on G-Force. That's what I do.
No, you wouldn't. You'd be there, buddy.
Not in a sundress.
You'd probably shave your legs. You're so vain,
might.
You'd shave your legs for it.
Maybe I do shave my legs. New thumbnail picture, Spencer says. Yeah, you first, buddy. Okay, moving on. We tried to get Mark. We talked about Operation Green Flag, so we've got 3 more events as part of that. Don't forget, it is coming live tonight, or not live, rebroadcast, or debuting tonight, I should say, on Rev TV Canada with the television edit that Spencer has so beautifully put together for Flamborough, and that will be tonight at 9 p.m. I think it comes on again at midnight, and Thursday at 9 p.m. with a bunch of encore airings. So make sure you check that out. Don't pay attention to the guide. Just tune in to Rev TV Canada at 9 p.m. Eastern. All right, moving on to some other big events, Adam, that came out this week. Kings Royal and Knoxville Nationals, both in the last 24 hours, announced they would not be holding their major events in 2021. Still a lot of things going on. The Outlaws will take that Nationals weekend, and they will do a World of Outlaws 3-day event, but it certainly won't be what the Nationals will be. They're going to postpone it till 2021. Same thing with the Kings Royal at Eldora. It will not go this year. It will be pushed back to 2021 as well. So 2 of the mightiest have fallen at them. I think those were unmanageable under the current conditions, let's say, simply because they are so full of people. Tens of thousands of people go to all of those events. It would fall under basically a major concert type deal. Tons of camping, tons of partying, tons of racing, and tons of fans. And so, both the Marion County Fairground, the Fair Board decided they would wait a year, and so did Tony and the boys at Eldora. Interesting thoughts on that. That leads us into what happens at Oshweekend. Well, we don't have a great answer yet. We're still on pause at Oshweekend, and we'll get back to talking about some more Oshweekend stuff at the bottom of the show here. We've got some new pictures and images to show you about some cool stuff going on, and we'll bring that to you. But anything you want to touch upon about Kings Royal and Knoxville Nationals being postponed, Adam? I think that's pretty much not new news. We could have all speculated that was going to happen.
Well, those are events that you could think might go on because they have TV contracts.
Yeah.
Or at least Knoxville Nationals does. And I mean, that's why a lot of racing is happening. That's happening is because they're obligated to put something on to earn their paycheck. This year, we've got to be content, Clinton. We've got to look at what's in our backyard, be grateful for it, be grateful to the promoters that have been able to put on races, and we've been lucky enough to take part in, because it may be the only racing people do. And I think a lot of people scoffed at that when these events were created, I remember talking about it the first week at Humberstone when it came up. Hey, this might be your only chance, and I don't think it resonated with people. So yeah, whatever, we're going to be out here in no time. Well, you look at it now and no, we're not going to be out there in no time. So hopefully more things do get put together. But with these huge events being canceled, it does allow. And the super stocks this weekend at Flamborough is a great example. That's a division that gets about 6 cars on a weekly basis at Flamborough Speedway. They're going to put out a full field of 24 cars. So they're going to come from all over Ontario. And instead of having to freeze our asses off in October to watch that kind of racing, we're going to get it in July. And you know what? Be thankful for it. Let's get excited for it because I think it's going to be a great show.
Yeah, I'm with you. You know, for a lot of these teams who are taking a wait and see attitude, I mean, you're going to see you may only get a couple of races in for the whole year. So that I understand that also makes it a tough choice for some of the guys. Maybe they just put the car on the shelf and don't bother racing at all. But, you know, if you want to help the sport, if you want to, you know, keep things going, I think we all have to do our part to get out there if you can and make it happen. I think, you know, I get a little bit frustrated with some of the hometown guys who decide they're going to sit out. You know, and just think that this may be your only shot. You know, like when I look at some of these races where they've signed up, you know, I'll just take, you know, Humberstone late models, for example. You know, and I know a lot of their guys decided to park their stuff because they didn't think anyone was going to happen. But out of the 17 cars they got signed up, I don't think I saw one hometown guy on that deal yet. So, you know, in my opinion, if you're Dave Bittner, what do? Do you look at that as well? This is just the summer it is. Do you look at, hey, the guys aren't going to support me long term, so do I stick it out with them? There's a lot of questions that brings up, and you know, I just I hate to see it not all coming together, but it's going to come together, just not as fast as it would. Like, for example, look at the crate guys. We sold out both crate shows in under 24 hours, and the Humberstone race, we decided we will not cap it at 28. We'll run a B main and see where we get. So, you know, some crazy times out there, and you know, some of the guys are dying to race, and some of the other ones are already just riding their motorcycles and going to the beach, which I can fully get. I mean, I've heard it from a lot of guys, the lower budget teams, who say it's just not worth putting the beating on my stuff for 2-3 races. We'll just ride it out till next year, and I fully get that too.
Yeah, you know, and let's pick on Pete Bicknell. I'm gonna pick on him a little bit because I was really disappointed he didn't go and race at Humberstone Speedway. But the more I think about it, you know, he doesn't owe racing a damn thing. It's been good for him, and he's been good for racing. But all these people have their choice, right? We're putting on this race. If you want to come and do it, come do it. And if you don't want to, if you don't like the guidelines, or if you don't like the way it's set up, it's their prerogative to stay home. Clinton, you and I, it's exactly the same. We don't like what's going on. Let's not go and announce races. But we do like what's happening here. There are places that I probably would not go to because I'm not really comfortable with what's going on. But I like what I've seen so far.
Yeah, I mean, we keep trucking through it. We've got 3 more events to go. So once again, we will be at Flamborough this Saturday, back to Merrittville the July 11th, and then the following night, Sunday, July 12th, we'll be back at Humberstone. So moving on, some cool stuff. So the feel-good story of the week. Rico Abreu last week, as life on the road and the sprint car guys will tell you, you end up servicing the car a lot of time in a parking lot, whether it be the Walmart or the hotel. And Rico had his stuff out there in the parking lot, and a summer school class walked by. Spencer, show the picture if you can. And started asking about the car and everything. And Rico is such a good guy, man. He took them all in, gave them all die cast, gave them a tour of the car, let them sit in the car, went through it all, and just run through the picture if you can, Spencer. And it was just a feel-good pitch from Rico. There he is sitting on the grass explaining sprint car racing to the kids. And, you know, it's a guarantee that's going to be a day these kids are never going to forget. They went home, even if they didn't know what a sprint car was, they left with one. Just awesome by Rico to help do that for the sport and to show these kids a bit about what our guys are about. What are your thoughts on that, Adam?
He's a class act, you know, and he gets it. Like, he just understands the big picture and takes great advantage of a crowd. And I don't mean that in a bad way. He takes advantage of the opportunity to show racing to people who may or may not have ever seen a race car before. So that's really, really cool.
Yeah, and you and I both approached him last year when he was up We had a couple of different kids we wanted to get stuff done who had special needs, and he super accommodating. Just really good deal.
Yep.
That takes us to our Burger Barn video of the week. This one she came up on Facebook, I think yesterday. Just want to mention Burger Barn. I got to eat there last week. It's open for takeout again, so get down and check out those awesome fixins they've got down at the Burger Barn. Make sure you get over there, call in your order ahead, and pick it up. We were there last week, had some great burgers, so make sure you check it out. Burger Barn. This is our Burger Barn video of the week, and Adam, this is where the spirit of the sport really comes in. This is where a young girl was getting ready to go out for her first go-kart race, and I believe it was her dad checking in on her, and just roll this, Spencer. This is classic, pure.
Make sure the sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you excited? Oh, Lord. You are worth it all, I tell you.
Awesome thumbs up there. She's loving it. I gotta think that was probably what Brett Stratford was like out in his first crate race there on the weekend, just giggling his ass off in the helmet. But you know, you gotta love great when you see the kids being that excited to get behind the wheel, Adam. And us old guys were a little bit jaded. We've done it all by now, but super cool to see the passion there from the youngster.
Yeah, I mean, that's how it's supposed to feel. It doesn't always look that way, but that's how it's supposed to feel. How cool was that? That's an awesome video.
You know, so of course we're Weekend guys at heart. Is where a lot of our talk and a lot of our topics come from. So I got my buddy T Mac, who we hang out with, T Mac's Bar and Grill, and I was talking to him about the new fireworks. So I don't know if you know this, but our partnership with Lone Wolf Fireworks. Last year they asked us to design some packaging. We got Greg Callan on it, and I stopped in. Terry McNeil gave me $300 today to go to Lone Wolf because he wants to have a party tomorrow. So I went down and I bought a trunk load full of fireworks for $300 to bring back home today. And one of the cool things we've got is this new. It's a 25-shot cake that Greg Callan has designed the artwork. And how cool is that? Greg's slogan on a cake of fireworks. It says, "If you came looking for a show, well, here you go." It's got Big O Proud Next Level on the backside. It's a 25-shot cake here of real fireworks.
Listen, why do you keep saying cake? They're fireworks.
That's what they call it. I don't know.
Cake.
I think that's what they call it, this big thing. Yeah, you can't
Don't
eat
say
this.
cake to a fat guy.
But this is a Lone Wolf Fireworks branded product. And that's cool. It goes for just around $30, I think. But that's awesome. And they're open tomorrow. So if you're out and want to celebrate Canada, I'm trying to look under and see what you can see. You came looking for a show. Well, here you go. And if we weren't in the basement studio, we'd light it off. But I think that's pretty awesome. We have our own fireworks. Once the Speedway gets open again and gets rolling, the plan is to have a promo pack. If you go in and buy this 25-shot box of fireworks, you'll get a couple tickets for the track and a schedule, and come on out and see how we put the Lone Wolf Fireworks to use. Spencer, roll those other pictures. So there they are, all on the skid today. These are pictures I took at Lone Wolf Fireworks today. And show us some of the other products. One thing, Jonathan Steyer's down there. And Adam, you know Jonathan. It's Mel's son. You and I were both big fans of Mel. We lost him a few years ago. Jonathan has now carried on the family business. All these products we're showing you are designed and produced by Lone Wolf Fireworks, and they're available right there. So these are their own fireworks products. Go down and check them out. Jonathan's there with his family. I got to tell you, a lot. They were busy today. They're going to be busy tomorrow. And they're open 7 days a week at Lone Wolf Fireworks on Route 54 there, Highway 54, just down from Chiefswood. Go down and tell them that you heard about it on the race show, and we'd love to have you get down and support Lone Wolf Fireworks. Jonathan's been a great supporter of what we do, and they really help us. Adam, we fought many times about dropping the fireworks out of the program, and I think it's a huge thing we do at Ohsweken. Again, we're at the races every week. We see fireworks every week. We get jaded. If you're a kid and you come to the track for the first time and you get fireworks and you get all that too every week, I think it just adds to it. So we're super proud of our association with Lone Wolf, and I'm proud of Greg, man. Like, I think he did a great job on this package. There's more artwork on the top there we didn't show you, and just amazing. Greg at Image Factor doing a great job as always. You came looking for a show. Well, here you go. There it is. A couple other things we want to go through while we're talking about Ohsweken. Feel free to jump in anytime. Last week, Adam, we got pictures of the new Strickland's pace truck, and I totally forgot to talk about it when we got off the air. So, Spencer, roll the pictures of the 2020 pace truck that we've got from our association Strickland's. It's a gorgeous piece down there. And Rick Scott doing a great job preparing the truck for us. Of course, Creative Edge with Steve Lyons and his crew doing the graphics on it. And super proud of our association once again with Strickland's. They've done an amazing job for us over the years, and our association with Rick and everybody there has been great. And don't be surprised if you see a brand new 2020 pace truck driving around the Brantford area. And the last thing I got on the rundown, Adam, go ahead.
I'm never surprised when I see Ohsweken vehicles anywhere.
Yeah, they do tend to show up a lot of places. Let's talk about the new walls now. So I drove by there today and took some pictures when I was at the track, and the new wall has been poured right down the front straightaway, complete with weeping tiles. They're working on now for proper drainage. And Spencer, throw up a couple of those pics if you can. So as opposed to the old block wall that would be put together kind of like a big Lego set on the ground, now it's one continuously poured wall from the start of the front straightaway all the way to the end, about 600 feet long. It's about a foot higher than the other one will be, and it's going to tee off nicely with the fence and everything there once it's all done. So a lot of improvements going on at Ohsweken. While we're still in lockdown, Glenn has not slowed down at all. So more interesting stuff going on. It's always crazy when I get up there and see more construction progress on the move. Update about Ohsweken. So we are still in hold pattern right now, waiting for them to get into phase 3 before we can do anything at the Speedway is the way it looks right now. They're not sure when that's going to be, if it's going to be in July or at the start of August. So we are still kind of on shutdown at Ohsweken. Unfortunately, we are just paused. Most recently, we had to announce the Triple Crown Showdown last week has been postponed till 2021. So that's our big show being postponed. That was the big block modifieds, the crate sprints, and the Thunderstocks. So we have to move that off to next year. Simply just the big block teams can't get across the border right now, and that's a big problem for us, along with a lot of the fans and what they've got. They want to attend this race too, so we won't be able to do it, unfortunately. And that leads us to the Nationals. No official news on the Nationals. We are still in a holding pattern, as we are about the Pinty's 100. And once we have news on either of those, we will bring them to you. But as for now, we are just sitting tight on both of those, waiting to see what happens with the restrictions and the opening up of the situation. So I think this is the first time in a long time we ran through the rundown with 15 minutes to
Buddy,
go on the show.
You've been on a mission tonight. I feel like Ed McMahon. I was just here to nod. Yep. Yes.
I feel bad because I brought a lot of the Ohsweken stuff to the thing, and I don't even know if you saw those pictures or anything today. So
I don't know. That's fine with me. I like seeing stuff for the first time when they
last
pop up
14
on the
minutes
screen.
are yours, big guy.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's do some trivia. When I was a kid, I loved looking at the results. You know, that was before the internet, so you'd grab a newspaper on Monday to look through the NASCAR results. For some reason, I was just fascinated by who finished where, how many laps down they were. And you'd get an Area Auto Racing News or a Gator Racing News, same thing. I want to see who finished where, how many cars were here, who ran where. Do you know who finished 27th in the truck race at Pocono this weekend? I was going through results, and this name just leapt out of the page at me.
Wow. The answer is no.
No,
You're going to play a little game and let me guess?
No.
Morgan Shepherd? I don't know.
Ray Cicerelli.
Okay.
Why does that matter?
I get. Why does it matter?
He was the one who quit NASCAR.
That's what I was gonna say. Wasn't he the one who pulled out over the Confederate flag that nobody knew about 2 weeks ago?
And NASCAR tweeted back, like, I'm sure your dozens of fans are going to miss you. So NASCAR actually slapped him back. And I'm trying to find, I've found a news story on it, but not an image of the tweet because it was hilarious. But I was really surprised to see him in the rundown and thinking, man, he had made his bed. I thought he was going to have to lie in it, but clearly not.
Yeah, I
Okay,
was
here's
shocked to see NASCAR's response because it was what needed to be said, but very rarely do large corporations get away with saying what we are all thinking. And they came right out and put him on blast right back into his, as you said, slapped him back a foot. And
that
that
comment.
was that
Your
was pretty
dozens
good.
of fans. Yeah, so he was in the show.
No, but it goes
That's
further. He
surprising.
said, "I'm sure your dozens of fans will miss you. We had to Google you to find out who you even were," which is even wilder.
Yeah, but it did make it onto CNN and things like that. So when you search them up, that's what you find. So that's I found that interesting in my search from the weekend. And in other news, kind of. Oh, there you go. Nicely done, Spencer. I'd like to announce I'm retiring from NASCAR. Oh, after this season. There you okay. I cannot drive a car for a league that won't allow my special flag. NASCAR's reply, we actually had to Google who you were. I'm sure your dozens of fans are real sad about your crusade to defend participation trophies.
Whew. Wow.
And
Like,
someone might have lost their job at NASCAR for that, but, they could drop the mic on their way out.
yeah, that was when I saw that. You almost start going for the source and think, can that be real? Can they really say that? That's gonna be our mission. I can't remember what company, but there's one company out there that just trolls everybody, and it's almost become their popular thing. I got to figure out. It's like one of the fast food companies or something. But no, we're excited about everything we've got going on. Of course, Mission Green Flag, as we mentioned, Operation Green Flag, Mission Flamborough. I'm getting punchy now, like you and Greg are around the Street Stock feature every Friday. Operation Green Flag kicks off. 3 more missions still to go. Flamborough, I'm excited to get out there and get the Pure Stocks, Mini Stocks, and Super Stocks out there. Full field of cars. I get the feeling we're going to have a little more carnage in that than we've seen at the first race at Flamborough. Thoughts on that?
Maybe not. What would you say is your favorite moment so far in the Operation Green Flag?
Ooh, that's tough too. Wow, good. That's a good one.
I've got a couple,
All right, let's hear what you got. Maybe that'll spark mine.
and they're unusual. They're not necessarily what you would think. My number one favorite moment so far was when the smell of methanol fumes, like a big breeze kicked up during crate sprint practice at Merrittville, and you could smell the methanol in the air, like, oh my gosh, I've missed this. That was the number one moment. Chad Chevalier in Victory Lane, it was my number 2 moment. I'm not going to lie. Holding his glove up to his face because he didn't have a freaking mask. And he never skipped a beat. Like, he just kept doing his thing with his glove up over his mouth.
Jack can be quite the comedian. I don't know whether he didn't anticipate he would have to be on the podium and didn't come prepared, but and of course you were perfectly on cue with the quip there, and it makes it laugh. So there's Chad there. Wow, I couldn't do that with my hockey glove. I know that, so I don't know how he's doing that with his racing glove.
Yeah, he can't be breathing. And I asked Spencer to clip that together with some audio because I think that'd be a fun little YouTube clip to get some views. But look at it, he's dead serious, just doing his thing.
Yeah, he kept the nose covered the whole time to protect me, and I appreciate that, Heavy Chevy. So, no, for me, I think the biggest thing was I got a good one here. I didn't share it today to you guys, but I did save it on my phone. And it would be, I'll try and show it to the picture. I don't know if my camera will adjust or not. Probably not. Anyways, it's 2 screenshots that Dave Small said. He said, very cool seeing my home track Humberstone Speedway on satellite TV. So that was 2 screenshots from the Rev TV broadcast, and I think that's probably my favorite moment here. Everybody knows we were able to get a national television deal for our friends and racers at our Schweeken Speedway, but to be able to continue that relationship a little bit with the guys at Rev and expand that out to get our friends at Flamborough, Merrittville, and Humberstone part of the national television package, I think is probably the proudest moment I've got. Seeing it get on the air last Tuesday and knowing when we were wrapping up this show and you said, oh, it's on, that was probably one of my favorite moments too, just to know we got it done. You know, as a crew, we had an idea a month ago. We threw some big spitballs at the wall. Thankfully, a few of them stuck and didn't slide right to the floor. And we're halfway through it now. And I think like anything, like we said earlier, like a race team, you're going to develop your own set of systems to get through the events, and we're getting there. I'm looking forward to going back to not having to run all the cable again. For the last 3 places we went to, it'll be nice to just go there and get set up instead of have to build the network from scratch. My waistline is like in these days, I'm at 15,500 steps every Saturday and 54 floors of climbing. Mind you, I can't walk till midday Monday most days afterwards, but I feel like I'm getting somewhere. But
you look marvelous.
Yeah, I just wish we had some positive news right now. So we'll ride out the next couple of weeks, see where things have gone. The other one who messaged me, John Brush. John Brush has been along with us for this ride as a supporter of the G-Force TV network, and he's also getting behind the 360 race at Merrittville coming up next weekend. John, he just said, let me know. He goes, if we get a good car count, I'll keep sponsoring these things. So he wants to keep going, and that's great that the sponsors are interested in keep pushing things forward and continuing what we got. So I think that's about it for now. It's been another good race rival show. I want to thank Spencer for everything he does. He's really been working overtime for us lately. Half the crew come in beat up. We look like we're in a street fight. Greg can't walk. Spencer's got a bad back. You're just ugly. It's just the way it goes.
Yeah. When I'm the healthiest one on the crew, something is not right.
Hey, you did the right thing for me on Saturday. You showed up with a bag of cheeseburgers, and that's all we needed around then. Even though the fries were cold, we still wolfed those burgers down like they were going out of style. So,
and that's why I was late getting here. We had a bit of a catastrophe down the road. It took forever to get our food. I'm like, guys, I got places to be.
All right. Well, in closing, go give Jonathan, head out to Oshwegan tomorrow if you want. Go give Jonathan at Lone Wolf Fireworks. Pick up some Canada Day celebration fireworks while you're out there. Stop by the Burger Barn. Call ahead and get some takeout. And we'll see you soon here on Race Rivals. Don't forget, Saturday at 4 p.m. Different time this week.
And 4 o'clock. Feel free to throw Glenn Steyer some love on the social media. He's always posting stuff, but he's spending money making beautiful upgrades at the racetrack. Make sure we appreciate the boss once in a while, because for someone to spend that kind of money when there's nothing coming in from the racetrack is pretty cool. We're lucky to have someone like him in the industry, and even though, he always posts about being on jet skis or wherever he is in the world or having good times, he takes a lot of his positivity and throws it into that speedway in his backyard.
Unfortunately, the community still has us shut down over the virus, Adam. But when you look at just on the top of my head, the new Steyer's Lumberyard parking that's going in, new front stretch wall, new VIP suites, new fencing between those areas, adjustments in the campground, more parking. The list goes on and on of things. So for anybody who's wondering where Glenn Steyer's head is and where the long-term goals of the Speedway are, his investments in this virus more than ever should show you that he's committed to the long-term success of the Speedway and continuing to grow its footprint and continuing to expand on all the great things we've done. And of course, as you mentioned, we certainly appreciate everything Glenn does and supporting our dreams too. We have visions and he gets behind them and lets us go for them, which is so cool.
It is absolutely. And the other thing we talked about it Saturday during the broadcast, but great job by Don Spees. Merrittville Speedway looked fantastic.
Yeah.
It looked really, really good.
Yep. If you're a fan of Merrittville Speedway and you have not seen any of the stuff Don's done, or haven't been there in a season or two, When you go back, you're going to be shocked. Even just, it's amazing what, as Don said, it was elbow grease and some paint, but it's amazing how much better it looks. And you wouldn't even think it needed it before, but it's beautiful now, and what they've
So
done
that's
with the turn one bar area, enclosing it all,
yep.
making it an indoor space. I don't know if you guys heard this, and I know you didn't, because it would be a topic of discussion. When I was leaving there Saturday night, I stopped by and thanked Don for having us, and he thanked us for being there. And he said, "Wow, he goes, you guys do a lot of work." He goes, "I was shocked at the amount of work you guys put in to make this broadcast happen." But we got talking about the new turn one bar area, and he said, would you have a problem if on Friday nights we have like a bar atmosphere going here eventually, and when our weekend gets running, we run the live stream on Friday nights? And and I said, no, because the people are going to go, go. It's not like they're going to choose not to go. Yeah.
Why would that be a problem? That's exactly why you do it.
Yeah, I think it's great.
That's awesome.
But the point of the story, they're building a wood burning pizza oven outside of that building, and the plan is on Friday nights to serve fresh, hot wood oven pizza and watch our Weekend Speedway, and build some fan bases between us. Yeah.
Now I have a problem. He's putting the oven in the wrong place.
Yeah, Don would do it. He would send a pizza up to you guys, but it would need to be recooked by the time it got an hour to our Weekend. But you never know what we could do. We'll get a teleporter invented, and we'll teleport you guys pizza from the wood oven at Maryville. But yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Great job by Don cleaning up Maryville. Not that it was a mess, but just making it look sharp. It looked great on TV, and I think it's going to look amazing right on through.
All three facilities we visited, Clinton, they've put a lot of elbow grease into their places over the off season. So I think it's good for everybody. It's good for the racers. It's good for the race tracks, because it shows well. You turn the cameras on, and people who aren't familiar with Humberstone or Merrittville or Flamborough or all of them get a good look at what short track racing can look like.
Yeah, I'm excited to go back to Humberstone, because we learned a lot since our first show, and I think you're going to see a big improvement in what we're able to deliver at Humberstone second time around. So excited about that. Thanks, Spencer, for everything you do. Adam, we'll wrap it up there. This is Race Rivals Race Chat. We appreciate you being with us. This is your show every week. And something else I forgot?
Hang on. It's almost time for the show to come on. So just like we did last time, as I disappear from sight of the screen, just to be sure, so our friends can know what's coming up.
We did this last week. This is terrible broadcasting, while you sit there and wait for Dr. Ho's commercial to finish.
You should have given me shit last week when I did it. So it says FIA World Rally, but it's Greg Callan. Is that? Yeah, that's us at Flamborough. Good Lord.
There you go.
Oh, tune in. I'm going to watch Rev TV, Clinton. See you next Tuesday.
Rev TV has Operation Green Flag playing right now at 9 p.m., again at midnight, and Thursday at 9 p.m. We'll see you live from Flamborough Speedway this Saturday, 4 p.m. Operation Green Flag, Mission Flamborough, round 2 with the Pure Stocks, Mini Stocks, and Super Stocks. Thanks, Spencer. Thanks, Adam. Stay safe, everybody. We'll see you on Saturday afternoon. And Greg, Greg, us home.
Some people can be uncomfortable with these masks. I find them hard to fit, but Chad Chevalier's fit like a glove.
I was waiting. I knew you were brewing something fantastic up.
Nailed it.
You nailed it.
If I wasn't wearing